Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Health and Vitality series. My name is Randall Leary, and I'll be guiding you through this short practice that explores a variety of aspects of health through yoga practice. And I'll be assisted by the beautiful and talented Nolita, and she'll be performing the moves, and I'll be explaining and guiding. So the basic idea is that we're going to do a series of classes that are designed to increase health in different ways, increase our vitality and our vibrancy. And we'll be looking at different parts of the body and different aspects of the human system, and we'll be working with yoga to increase the function of our various systems. Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to the Health and Vitality series. My name is Randall O'Leary, and I'll be guiding you through this short practice that explores a variety of aspects of health through yoga practice. And I'll be assisted by the beautiful and talented Nolita, and she'll be performing the moves, and I'll be explaining and guiding. So the basic idea is that we're going to do a series of classes that are designed to increase health in different ways, increase our vitality and our vibrancy. And we'll be looking at different parts of the body and different aspects of the human system, and we'll be working with yoga to increase the function of our various systems. So just remember that as you go through the practice, if something doesn't feel right, or you don't feel comfortable, or it's simply something you don't want to do, then just respect that. And if you know some modifications, then go ahead and make modifications. Otherwise, you can skip something or learn how to do it later. So today's practice is on rasa. Right? Rasa means the juice of life and the juice in our bodies. So we're going to work with this juice. We're going to get it moving and flowing through different kinds of yoga practices. So when you're ready, we'll take a simple seat and just settle the hips down onto the floor. We're going to straighten the legs out in front of us. Good. And then from here, we're just going to start to get the juice, the rasa, going in the joints. So the first thing we're going to do is just make simple circles with the ankles. So to start to make slow and even circles, moving the ankles, letting them flow freely. Good. Not too strong, not too fast. Just let's keep things today in this rock just pretty slow and even. So we're going to do things that are pretty gentle and hopefully fairly soothing, so that we can really get the rasa moving. Good. And gradually moving the ankles in the other direction. So continue to make the simple circles, nice and smooth and even. Not too fast, not too slow, just a normal, simple, rhythmic pace. Right, so in the idea of rasa, the juice of the body, its job is to nourish us. And this is really its main job. The juices of the body are there to nourish us. So the first thing that happens as when the food comes into us is that it needs to be turned into rasa, into juice and nutrition. Good. So you can release the movement of the ankles. And then just keep the left leg bent. And grab the back of the right leg, lift it off the floor. And then just start to straighten and bend the right leg. Just again to get the simple flowing movement, the knee joint. Good. So as we move the joints simply and smoothly, then this starts to move the liquids in our body. And this is what we're really after, is just getting the liquids moving, which include, of course, the blood, right? And the lymphatic system, two of the really important aspects of our liquids in the body. And of course, there's liquids in the joints themselves. Good. And then once you're finished with that, you can release the leg down and let's bend and straighten the other leg. So gradually taking that left leg and holding the back of the thigh, and again, bending and straightening so that you get some just simple flowing movement through the knees. So we're gradually waking up the body. So one of the problems of the rasa is that it becomes stagnant, right? Liquids are a bit heavy. So especially in the morning time, oftentimes we feel a bit lethargic and don't really feel full of energy yet. And then one of the reasons is it because the rasa's not moving, right? Our juices aren't flowing. Ways of waking up the rasa and waking up the body is just by making simple flowing movements. It doesn't have to be a full power yoga practice. Just getting the rasa and the joints moving is enough. Good. And then releasing that, let's place the soles of the feet together and make the butterfly position. Remember that, especially in this position, if this is uncomfortable, we won't be here long, but if it is uncomfortable, you can sit up on a pillow or a block or a bolster. So with the soles of the feet together, then just slowly bring the knees together and let them open again. Bring them together and let them open, so that you're just now working the mobility and the freedom of movement in the hip joints. So people are going to have different flexibility and different ranges of movement in the hips. That's okay. It doesn't matter how far down the legs go or don't go. We just want to get them moving. So you bring the knees together, let them open again, bring them together again. And just once again, you're making a flow. So one good. And slowly releasing that. We'll stretch the legs out and then, we'll take the legs into cross-legged position. So just move the legs into a simple and comfortable position. Probably cross-legged is more comfortable. Then we'll start to make some circles with the wrists. So again, simple, slow, flowing movement with the wrist joints. Do them both at the same time. Remember that we want to refine the quality of our movement. So sometimes we do yoga and it's fairly intense and sometimes even a little aggressive. So we definitely don't want that today. Rasa is nourishing, right? The quality of what we're doing today is about nourishment of our body, nourishment of all our cells. So when we work in this way of smooth and flowing, then we really towards this nutrient in different ways. And more intensely than that doesn't necessarily nourish us in the same way. Good. So we move the wrists in the other direction, please. And of course, as always you would do in a yoga class, is just do your best to pay inward attention. So you really want to put aside any outside thoughts and distractions. You do your best to make the inner connection, really feel what's going on, pay attention to your body and the feelings and the signals that it gives to you. Good. Okay, let's gradually release the movement of the wrists. We'll stretch the arms out straight in front of us and turn the palms up. And then we'll just do simple movements of the elbows. So you touch the fingertips to the shoulders and then you straighten the arms again. And then touch the fingertips to the shoulders again. Yeah, just you're making simple movements with the elbows. Elbow's a fairly straightforward joint, not a lot of complexity going on there. So we just bend and straighten a few times. Rasa and the juices flowing in that particular joint. Next time the fingertips touch the shoulders, we're going to keep the fingertips there, and then we're going to make circles with the elbows to just get some flowing and circular movement through the shoulders. So we'll just moving the elbows, lifting the shoulders a little, dropping them, right? Moving the shoulders back and forward. So you're making round movements with the shoulders. Yeah, so each one of these movements is just helping to rhythmically pump the fluids around the body, right? Which is you basically pumping the nutrition that's in the blood to all the cells. So part of Rasa's job is to nourish every cell, every part of our beings. And if we don't move enough, or if we don't move in the right ways, then we don't get that same level of nutrition. If you haven't changed the direction of the movement, then change the movement of the shoulders. So when we work with the rasa, when we work with this aspect of nutrition and being nourished in our yoga practice, then generally we want to stick with movements that are a little bit heavy, slow, and soft. Those are the basic qualities that we want to cultivate today with the rasa practice. When we do other practices later on in the series, then we will work with more activated and stronger types of practices. But for today, just keep it juicy, keep it smooth, keep it comfortable. Very good. Okay, and releasing the flow of the shoulders. We'll take the hands on the legs. So just rest the palms just above the knees. And then we're going to start to make little movements with the spine. So first we want to lift the chest and draw the heart up as high as possible, right? And then round a little bit and drop the head forward, round the spine, and then lift the chest again, around the spine again. So now we're starting to make the activation of the joints in the spine. And this is one of our really important areas of rasa. And of course, that's where our cerebral spinal fluid is, which is one of the very important fluids we have that actually conducts messages throughout the whole body, right? From the brain through the spinal cord. And the cerebral spinal fluid is a very sensitive part of the rasa, sensitive juice in the body that we want to make sure is flowing and active. So just moving the spine nicely, smoothly, evenly is one of the ways that we can do that. Yeah, make sure to get the head and neck involved a little. So as you lift the chest, then the chin lift a little bit. Then as you the head drops forward a little bit, and the back of the neck lengthens. So really trying to work the whole spine here. Spine with the upper body, just making flowing circles. So now body is creating, we're getting bigger move flow. So gradually we'll be building up into some bigger movements. Right, but certainly one of the most important things that Ayurveda and yoga believe is that the first thing we need to do is create nourishment in tissues and all of our cells. And that's where everything begins, right? If the cells aren't nourished, then they won't function properly, and we will already be feeling a little edgy or anxious or nervous, and some of the emotions that go along with the rasa that's not flowing is nervousness and anxiety. So when we're not being fed and we're not being nourished, this is what we get: nervousness and anxiety. So we want to gradually nourish ourselves through the yoga practice. Later on, like I said, we're going to do some more intense things. But right now, we want to make sure that we are creating nourishment. That is the first thing that we want to do. Okay, good. Let's release that. Now let's get things moving just a little bit faster. Oh, did we not go in the other direction? Let's go in the other direction. Did you change sides? Right. So just keep in mind, right? Keep your attention still cultivating this softness, right? Or really just let it be a nice feeling, because that's what we get when we are nourished. We feel good. When you eat a good meal, you feel nice, right? When you eat and you don't feel satisfied, then your tissues are not being nourished properly. So when we nourish ourselves through yoga, then the movements feel nice. Yeah, not stressful, not difficult or aggressive. Okay, good. Let's settle into the center. Good. Just lift up gently through the spine. So soften the shoulders, lift the heart a little bit. We're going to take the fingertips on the shoulders again. All right. And lift the elbows so they point out. So keep the shoulders sunk and down. And let's drop the elbows just a little bit more so they're more sort of mid rib height. Good. And then we're just going to left and right. So we're going to twist to the left and then twist to the right and then twist to the left. So start to make, it's a slightly faster movement. So don't stop in the middle. Just flow through all the way to the left, all the way to the right. And just start to make an even and flowing movement just a little bit faster. So when we do flow faster with even movement, then the blood starts to flow a little bit more completely through the body. Good. A few more like that. So one of course, the main areas that creates the circulation of nutrients is the heart, right? The heart pumping the blood through the whole body. So mated and moving and opening the chest, then the fluids flow more completely through the whole body. Very good. Okay, slowly release to center. Nice. Good. Let's transition to hands and knees. So we're going to start to add some breath to our flowing movements. So we'll go to the hands and knees position. All right, so under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. Let's just start to flow between this position and child's pose. So you can move yourself to child's pose. Nice slow flow backwards, and then slow flow back to hands and knees. So just start to create a nice even flow. There's no breaks, there's no holes, there's no stopping, there's no speeding up. It's just nice and regular, just like a flowing river. So if you wish, you could, of course, sends prana and nourishment to our cells as well in the form of energy. So if you want to, you can inhale forward to hands and knees. You can exhale back to child's pose and just start to incorporate the basic, simple, non-stressful flowing breathing that we're working on. But certainly it's an active breath, so we want the inhalation to be just a little bit deeper than normal, exhalation just a little bit deeper than normal, so that we're increasing the amount of prana. We're increasing the amount of circulation of energy so we can be nourished. Remember now, with the whole body movement and flow, they're really creating a deeper level circulation. And the circulation of the blood to feed the muscles and the tissues, the circulation of the lymphatic system to fight disease and illness. Are very important layers for our immune system, so that when we work in this way, that we actually increase the strength of our immune system. Good. So hopefully, again, it's pretty comfortable. Feels nice. And you're working with unity and connection. So the inhalation comes into the body as you come forward. The exhalation goes out as you go back. And of course, this is something you can do as much as you want, as long as you want. This is a really benign and very healthy thing to do. The cat-cow, as I call it, from childhood, is really one of the best simple ways to get the rasa flowing. And especially if you're tired, you don't have much energy, or if you're an older person or have any physical problems, it's a great thing to do. You could do this for ages and really get lots of benefits. Very good. Nice. Okay. And then one more. And then next time you come forward to the hands and knees, let's prepare to go into downward. Once you get to the hands and knees, just turn the toes under and just push yourself. And just allow that downward dog to be, again, really comfortable, really juicy. Don't strain the shoulders. Don't push it. Really find positions of comfort. And then allow the posture to flow a little bit. So you just take your movements and you can bend the knees, you can move the belly, you can move the position of the arms, their shoulders a little bit, just keeping the basic foundations the same. But yeah, just a little bit of flow here. Another important thing about dog is that it is what we call a half inversion. So with the hips higher than the heart and the heart higher than the head, then the fluids, thanks to gravity, flow downwards, right? And start to give nutrition to the brain and to the upper parts of the body and to the lungs and to the nervous system. So this is really, again, one of our healthiest positions is downward dog. And one of the reasons is because it moves the rasa, right? It moves the juice, it moves the blood easily through gravity, through movement, through breath. So try to keep your breath flowing smoothly as well. Good. Nice. Now keep moving a little bit, but let's move a little bit forward towards the chaturanga and then back to the dog for a few breaths. So you come forward towards plank and then just take a breath or two and then return to dog, move around a little bit and flow. And then do that a few times, returning to plank, returning to dog. Nothing too fast. Again, it's all part of the flow. Nice, even and smooth. Nothing stressful. Keep the feeling in the body pleasant. So remember, in yoga practice, we're always trying to learn how to monitor the feeling we have and what's going on, our situation within us. Because being healthy is to be able to feel what's happening and to be aware. And yoga helps us to practice this awareness by giving us an opportunity to pay attention. Whereas oftentimes in normal life, right, the attention's external, it's on other things. So yoga practice is really how we practice listening to our bodies, listening and learning. Very good. And then next time you go to the dog, let's drop the knees to the floor and then take the belly down as well. So let's go all the way to down. So the belly, your front side Savasana. So your whole front body is on the floor. Very good. And the hands are next to the ribs. Good. We're going to flow a little bit more here. So once the hands are next to the ribs and firmly connected to the ground, we're going to breathe in. We're going to inhale and lift the chest. We'll go to a gentle upward dog. So come to the straight arms or part way. If you want to go just a little way, that's also fine. And then flow back down again. And then continue that. So you inhale, you lift and push up, make a little upward dog, and then you exhale and take it back down again. Again, non-stressful flow, but a little stronger. Okay, so we want to at least build a little bit of heat in the body because cold creates stagnancy, right? So water can be cold, water can be slow. So we want to make sure just by bringing a little heat into the body that the rasa, right, and nourish all of our cells. Another amazing thing about the rasa is that it rules the skin, so that when we have good juicy flow in the body, we have healthy rasa, healthy juice, then the skin will actually glow. The skin will be healthy and happy, right? And so it's supposedly free of wrinkles, right? And you'll be free of cold hands and feet and cold limbs because the circulation of energy is there. Remember, of course, you can rest anytime. You can always do less, but don't keep pushing it in today's practice. Really, right? The depth comes from staying relaxed and gentle and flowing, not from trying to deepen any kinds of poses or put a lot of pressure into the shape. Very good. And next time the chest calms down, let us return to dog. Just take a few breaths there. Again, just make sure it's loose. Check the body, make sure it feels good, loose, and comfortable. And of course, you can rest and drop the knees in child's pose in downward dog if you need to, but for the moment, let's try to stay a little bit longer in this half inversion. Remember, in downward dog as well, it's really important to keep the head quite soft and the neck soft, so you're not holding the head up. There's no pressure or tension in the neck, right? Because that, of course, blocks some of the flow into the head. So we want to encourage a really smooth and even flow, an open flow into the head. Very nice. Let's bend the legs and just walk the feet forward till you come to the standing forward bend, which we call Uttanasana. So let's place the feet about hip width apart. Let's start with a bent leg position. So bend the knees and drop the knees, towards the chest. So the chest and knees coming close together. And again, let go. So really loosen the shoulders and head. Let them go completely. Just let it flow, let it go. Good. If that's really comfortable, you can straighten the legs more or even a bit more. If you're really flexible, then the legs can be straight, but that's not the point here. We don't want to put too much pressure on the body anywhere. We really want the whole body to be comfortable. So if you want to, you can bend the legs a little bit and then straighten a little bit and bend a little bit and straighten a little bit. Again, creating that rhythmic flow of movement, which creates the rhythmic flow of our juices, our blood, our lymphatic system, our cerebral spinal fluid, etc., etc. So, and again, this, when we move slowly and smoothly like this, we're also not putting too much, and this can be a big problem for athletes and yoga people who do a lot of intense practices, that the joints become worn out because basically the intensity on the joints starts to dry up the juices, because the joints are filled with juice, aren't they? The joint capsules have this rasa in them. So we want to make sure we don't overuse the joints or overstrain them and deplete them of the rasa. Okay, very good. You can roll up to standing. Nice. Let us go to triangle pose. So let's keep the right leg forward and step the left leg back. And then have the heels about even and the legs far apart, but not too far. And we're going to try to also keep the hips fairly even. So right hip pointing towards the right and left hip pointing towards the left. Let's gently extend the arms so they float up without tension in the shoulders. Really test the shoulders. Just make sure that the shoulders feel gentle and comfortable. If that's not possible, you can drop the arms further down. That's also fine. Let's start to flow in and out of triangle pose. So on an exhalation, you can just flow forward and the hand can go down anywhere on the leg that is comfortable, right? So it's possible that the hand will go to the ankle. That's fine. If you're less flexible and you're inhaling, coming back up and then back down into the pose. So you're making a little flow here. But just remember that in your own body, you might not touch the ankle. Maybe you'll touch the shin somewhere or even the knee or above the knee. That's also fine. We really want this expression to be comfortable. Don't let anywhere bring you pain, right? Because pain blocks some of that flow. So simple flow into triangle pose and out, using breath if possible. You into the pose, takes you out. Very good. Just a few more. So remember also when working with rasa, it takes a little bit more time. We do things, we do more repetitions of the movements than we would ordinarily because we want that rhythmic flow and we really want to allow the juices to pump through the body and the blood to flow nicely. Right? Just doing one or two is not really going to achieve what we want with that blood giving nutrition to all of our cells. Okay, good. Next, let's relax the arms. So drop the arms down. And then let's switch the feet over. So we do the other side of triangle pose. So the left leg will be forward and the right leg will be at an angle. Once you set that, then just float the arms up again, making sure that the shoulders are relaxed and soft. And then start the flow when you're ready. Exhalation going down into triangle pose. Inhalation coming back up. Good. So when we are successfully cultivating rasa in our lives, so Ayurveda suggests that it's done through yoga, but it's done in so many other ways as well. But the end result is that we get more strength, more stamina, right? When all of our cells are nourished and balanced and happy, then we gain strength, we gain power, we gain stamina. Right? And this is certainly something that we want, we need in life, don't we? Is to be able to do is what we want to do for as long as we want to do it. That's stamina, isn't it? Right? And we want the strength and power to do good yoga practice, to move through our lives with grace, but also with strength. Very good. And then next time you've come up, let's release the arms. Once again, turn towards the front in the Tadasana position, the mountain pose position. So bring the feet together. Good. And slowly drawing the arms over the head. Good. Let's bend the knees and go forward into the full forward bend. So the Uttanasana position, straight leg forward bend. And again, if you're flexible, legs can be straight. If you're if you're less flexible, the knees can be bent. So just adjust. So that could be the main point in today's practice. Adjust the shape so that you're comfortable. Okay, so it's not always correct to push into straight legs and to try to go deeper into the pose, right? Getting more relaxed and more comfortable and more harmonious is also deeper. It's just a different type of deeper, isn't it? Okay, good. So yeah, if you can, then bend the legs if you need to. Place the hands on the floor in the downward dog position, and then walk your feet back again to the downward dog. And again, just a little bit more flow. So we're taking advantage of having done some more movement. Right? It built a little bit more heat. And so now we're taking advantage of that by doing a little bit more inversion. So this is one of the inversions are one of the shapes that really helps to strengthen our immune system, right? Because if you know a bit about anatomy, the lymphatic system, the immune system, actually needs to be pumped by moving the muscles, right? The heart, the blood, well, the blood pumps naturally because of the heart, so you don't need to do anything. It happens naturally. But the immune system functions better because you're moving, because you're activating muscles. So, and especially when we go upside down, that further strengthens the immune system. Very good. Okay, let's slowly bend the knees, drop the knees to the floor. Let's take the child's pose for a moment. So just drop the hips back onto the heels. Good. And let's have full relaxation here. So don't keep the arms straight or active. Really let go. Let the elbows drop to the floor. Let the shoulders soften. Let the neck soften, the head, the face, the upper back, the belly, everywhere possible, let it soften. Yeah, so remember the tense body oftentimes blocks the flow of the blood. So when we loosen, when we soften, we just allow. And that's really one of the qualities of water that we want to work with, is the allowing. That's part of relaxing. It's just surrendering, isn't it? Just letting things happen, letting things flow. So we definitely want to practice that, because a lot of us don't consciously do it very often. And we really, this is one of the things that yoga does, is it brings to our attention things that we need to cultivate, the important things and qualities in life. And one of them is, for most of us, relaxation. Just let it go. Just stop moving and soften. Because it's actually an extremely healthy thing to do. And of course you can stay like that, but let's slowly roll up. And we'll bring the legs out in front in the Kurmasana position, the tortoise position. So bringing the legs in front and sitting on the hips. So the feet will be on the floor with the knees about hip width or shoulder width. Good. Let's actually make enough space between the knees so that the chest and upper body can go between the legs. Let's flow a little bit from here. So make sure it's comfortable. Don't go beyond your comfort position. And then gradually come back up so that you're lifting the chest a little bit. The arms can go over the head. Yep, so a little bit of lift and openness, make some space, and then just flow it gently down again. Make sure that you drop the head at the end of the movement, fully release and surrender the head, then flow it back up. Nice. Right. So again, we're working with this quality of nurturing ourselves. So we can't just allow, or we can't just expect that the body will nourish itself. We're going to be healthier and we're going to have better rasa if we consciously create nourishment. We consciously encourage the nourishment of all our cells and tissues through relaxation and flowing movement. So it's really part of yogis taking control of their own health and their own situation in their bodies by moving in certain ways and cultivating certain things, so that we can again banish these unnecessary fears and anxieties and this nervousness and insecurity that can plague us if our juice layer is not really flowing and healthy. Good. Next time you go forward, let's just stay and surrender a little bit longer. So just soften there. Remember, if you're up higher, if you're less flexible, then you're just up higher. That's fine. If you're not comfortable in the position you're in, then come up higher. If you're happy as you are and you can really soften and let go, then great. Just take some breaths. Let the rhythmic breathing feed and nourish the cells with prana. And interestingly, that there's 7 layers of tissues according to Ayurveda, and they all need to be nourished. But the first thing that needs to be nourished, and the most important one, is the first one, rasa. Because without the nourishment of rasa, then the other tissues won't be nourished. So We really have to make sure that this first layer is getting what it needs. And it takes actually from the first meal, so your meal goes into you, right? And the stomach and the digestive system turn it into rasa. And it takes 5 days from that meal, 5 days for that meal to nourish your rasa layer. So it takes some time. It's not instantaneous. Okay, very good. So you can slowly roll up and out of that. Good. Then we're going to roll onto our backs for the little bridge cycle. So we'll go onto our backs and we'll have the feet about hip width and fairly near the hips, not too close, not too far away, because we want to lift and drop the hips and arms. So yeah, maybe the fingertips touch the heel if that's comfortable. If the feet are a little farther, that's fine too. And when you're ready, the arms and the hips will rise up. The hips will rise away from the floor. The arms will go over the head, and then you float back down again. And then continue on with that flow. So inhalation brings the arms and hips up. Exhalation takes them down. So again, we're making a little inversion. The hips going up higher than the heart and head helps the liquids and fluids to flow down towards the heart, towards the head, and really nourish the brain and nervous system. And again, just make sure you're not lifting so high that you become uncomfortable or you strain the back. Just let it be really easy, really nice. Because remember, some of us, we actually don't know the feeling of having really good rasa. We don't know the sort of feeling of security and comfort and nourishment that that you get when you really have nourished your fluids. So we want to work towards experiencing what it is to feel truly nourished on every level. And of course, that nourishment is not just the physical level and the cells of the body, but it's also taste, right? It's also actually a deep kind of satisfaction, a deep kind of pleasure. And so another meaning of rasa is a musical melody. And my teacher says that rasa is what brings music to your life. It brings perfume, right? It brings joy, it brings dancing and movement, right? And an artistic feeling, a creative feeling. So it's really important to bring beauty to life, to bring nectar to life. And eventually what rasa turns into is what we call amrita. And amrita is the nectar, right? That makes you glow and gives you the sort of ultimate pleasure of existence, right? The amrita. Very good. So once the hips are down, you can relax that. So if possible, then we're going to move into the shoulder stand. So really one of the ultimate ways to move our liquids is to move to Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. So if you know the pose, you can go ahead. If nothing else, you can just bring the legs into the chest. That's also fine. Or you can make a bent position, right, which we call Viparita. So it's bent and it's a bit gentler. So that's the one I recommend. So there's not much pressure on the neck and things flow and you can be comfortable. If you're really comfortable in shoulder stand, you know it really well, and you want to do the full straight position, that's fine. But I do recommend the bent position for most of you, just again to back off from any level of intensity. So in shoulder stand, another one that is moving our liquids, and they call it Sarvangasana, right? The whole body pose. So this is really one of the poses that positively affects the health of the whole body. I remember as well that this pose is best done anytime except during menstrual time. And the layer that rules menstruation is the rasa layer. So this liquid layer actually rules menstruation and the quality of your menstruation and the flow and the rhythm and everything else. All these things that we've been working with already, right? Cycles and flows is really the essence of menstruation, isn't it? So when the rasa layer is good, generally your menstrual cycle will be healthy and you won't get too many symptoms and problems before your period starts, etc., especially the bloating and these kind of things. So, we really want to work the rasa layer so that our, all the things that the rasa layer rules, including menstruation for women, and immunity for everyone, and actually like sexual function as well, for both men and women, is also ruled by the rasa layer to a degree. So there's tons of benefits for working with the rasa layer. If you want to, then you can gradually drop the legs over the head. If you're done with shoulder stand, that's fine. You can roll yourself out and relax. So yeah, you can do plow pose. If the feet touch the floor, fine. If not, that's fine too. Arms can be wherever you like. And again, comfort is important. If you need to bend the knees a little bit, fine. If the feet aren't on the floor, that's fine. Just make sure you change the pose so that you are comfortable. Let's remember as well that the rasa layer also affects emotions. Like we already talked a little bit about the sort of negative emotions of fear and anxiety, nervousness and insecurity that can happen when we're not truly nourished. But when we are truly nourished, then we get, remember how we talked about a little bit of strength and stamina. We also get what my teacher listed as compassion and profound faith. Right. So there's a lot of juice. There's a lot of compassion and love in your heart when the rasa flows. Good. When you're done with the shoulder stand, you can gradually roll your way out of the pose. Nice. And then just slide yourself onto the middle of your mat and let's do the Savasana for a few minutes. So again, let's make sure we're comfortable. If you're in a cold place, then make sure you're warm. Cover up with something. If you have a sarong or a blanket, that's great. Just want to make sure that you don't get cold, because that will cause the flow to stagnate a little bit. So we just want to be warm so that the rasa, the blood, the lymph, everything can continue to flow nicely even as we rest in Savasana. And Savasana is about learning how to let go, learning how to relax, learning how to just allow the flow to happen. So during this time we're in Savasana, just really try not to move, try not to change the body at all unless necessary. The less we move, then the more the body can truly relax, truly soften. If you want to let the breath flow very gently, that's fine too. But if you want to just be in complete surrender, that's also good. And just let Savasana be very pleasant. Don't let any worries come to your head. Don't let any problems creep in. Don't let any discomfort of the physical body or the mental body happen. Remember that Savasana is a progressive pose, so just continue to maintain awareness of release and relax. So the relaxation just continues to deepen. The body continues to soften. And all fear and anxiety and insecurity start to melt away. Remember, when we have good rasa, we gain clear perception, clarity of mind, faith, love, and trust. These are all the higher benefits of cultivating our juice layer, the layer of flavor and taste. Good. Long as you like, but for the moment, slowly start to wake up the body again, just making some simple and slow rhythmic movements with the fingers and toes, the arms and legs, just gradually, gently bringing the body back to life. Very good. And slowly bring yourself back up to a seated position. Nice. Let's bring the hands together in front of the heart. Just drop the head forwards. May we have clarity and peace and trust. May we eventually realize and gain the nectar of existence, the Amrita, the ultimate rasa. Very good. Release the arms and lift the head. Very nice. So thank you for joining us in this practice. Thank you very much, Nolita, for helping us and showing us the shapes. So hopefully this will be a series of different classes, as I said, and each class will approach yoga a little bit differently, and each class will address a different aspect of our health and our well-being. So please tune in and watch the next videos. So thank you very much. Hari Om. My name is Randall O'Leary, and I'll see you next time. Hari Om. Thank you.